Terminating decimal is a decimal that does in fact end. It's not one that kills you. So if x over y is expressed as a decimal, is it a terminating decimal? In order to figure that out, we basically need to know what x and y are. Once we do, we can figure it out. Statement 1 tells us that x is between 40 and 45. That's nice, and it's kind of a narrow range, but there's no y in here. So without knowing what y is, we can't solve. So statement 1, insufficient. And also it's not going to be D. Statement 2 tells us that y equals 8. So statement 2 is telling us that x over y is equal to some integer divided by 8. And I know I said at the beginning of the problem that x and y would be required to to figure out whether there's a terminating decimal, but that's actually not entirely true, because any integer divided by 8 will be a terminating decimal. The reason I know that is either x is going to be a multiple of 8, in which case the number itself will be an integer, it'll be something 0.0, or you'll have a remainder of 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, or 7/8. And each of these has a decimal equivalent that is a terminating decimal. And I would say it's well worth memorizing on the GMAT that 1/8 is 0.125. The other ones you can kind of figure out, like 4/8 is always 1/2, so that's 0.5, and 2/8 is 1/4, which is 0.25. The other ones you can get by multiplying 0.125 times 1/8. But 1/8 comes up often enough on the GMAT that the decimal equivalent might save you some time. Anyway, each of these turns out to be a terminating decimal. So this is 0.375. 5 times that is 0.625. This is 3/4, which is 0.75. And then 7/8 is 0.875. So each one of these is a terminating decimal. So any integer divided by 8 is going to either have a, 8/8, of course, comes out to be 0.0. It's going to have one of these, all of which are terminating decimals. So statement 2 on its own is sufficient to answer the question. Answer choice B.